What's up, everybody, and welcome to Read the Bible with me. I'm Stan, and today we're looking at chapter 5 of the book of Daniel. Welcome to the Bible Club. Grateful, as always, to see you. I'm always looking forward to reading the Word of God with you daily, and that's what we do here. So, let's get started with chapter 5. It says, King Belshazzar made a great feast for 1,000 of his lords and drank wine in front of 1,000. Belshazzar was, when he tasted the wine, commanded that the vessels of gold and of silver that Nebuchadnezzar his father had taken out of the temple in Jerusalem be brought, that the king and his lords and his wives and his concubines might drink from them. Then they brought in the golden vessels that had been taken out of the temple, the Lord of the house of God in Jerusalem, and the king and his lords, his wives and his concubines drank from them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and silver and bronze and iron and wood and stone. Immediately the fingers of a human hand appeared and wrote on the plaster of the wall of the king's palace, opposite the lampstand, and the king saw the hand as it wrote. Then the king's color changed. His thoughts alarmed him. His limbs gave way, and his knees knocked together. The king called loudly to bring in the enchanters and the Chaldeans and the astrologers. The king declared to the wise men of Babylon, whoever reads this writing and shows me its interpretation shall be clothed with purple and have a chain of gold around his neck, and shall be the third ruler of or in the kingdom. Then all the king's wise men came in, but they could not read the writing or make known to the king the interpretation. Then King Belshazzar was greatly alarmed, and his color changed, and his lords were perplexed. The queen, because of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banqueting hall, and the queen declared, O king, live forever. Let not your thoughts alarm you, or your color change. There is a man in your kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. In the days of your father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, were found in him. And King Nebuchadnezzar, your father the king, made him chief of the magicians, enchanters, Chaldeans, and astrologers, because an excellent spirit, knowledge, and understanding to interpret dreams, explain riddles, and solve problems were found in this Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now, let Daniel be called. He will show the interpretation. Then Daniel was brought in before the king. The king answered and said to Daniel, are you that Daniel, one of the exiles of Judah, whom the king my father brought from Judah? I've heard of you that the spirit of the gods is in you, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom are found in you. Now the wise men and the enchanters have been brought in before me to read this writing and make known to me its interpretation, but they could not show the interpretation of this matter. But I have heard that you can give interpretations and solve problems. Now, if you can read the writing and make known to me this interpretation, you shall be clothed with purple and have a chain of gold around your neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. And Daniel answered, said before the king, let your gifts be for yourself, and your gifts, and you give your rewards to another. Nevertheless, I will read the writing to the king and make known to him the interpretation. Now you understand, Daniel's a little older at this point because this is the second king. Daniel started out with King Nebuchadnezzar. Now this is his son, Belshazzar. And so he says, you can keep the gifts. When you get a little older, you stop caring about what everybody else is caring about, And so he says, O king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar your father kingship in greatness and glory and majesty. And because of the greatness that he gave him, all peoples, nations, languages trembled and feared before him. Whom he would, he killed, and whom he would, he kept alive, and whom he would, he raised up, and whom he would, he humbled. But when his heart was lifted up, and the spirit was hardened, so that he dealt proudly, he was brought down from his kingly throne, and his glory was taken from him. He was driven from among the children of mankind, and his mind was made like that of a beast, and his dwelling was with the wild donkeys. He was fed grass like an ox, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, until he knew that the Most High God rules the kingdom of mankind, and he set over it with whom he will. And you, his son, Belshazzar, have not humbled your heart, though you knew all this, but you have lifted up yourself against the Lord of heaven. And the vessels of his house have been brought in before you, and you and your lords, your wives, and your concubines have drunk wine from them. And you have praised the gods of silver and gold, and of bronze and iron and wood and stone, which do not see or hear or know, but the God in whose hand is your breath, and whose are all your ways, you have not honored. Then from his presence the hand was sent, and his writing was inscribed. And this is the writing that was inscribed: Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. This is the interpretation of the matter. Mene, God has numbered the days of your kingdom and brought it to an end. Tekel, you have been weighed, and in the balances have found wanting. You need more to weigh. Your balances, it's not looking good for you. Perez, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Then Belshazzar gave the command, and Daniel was clothed with purple. A chain of gold was put around his neck, and a proclamation was made about him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. But that very night, Belshazzar, the Chaldean king, was killed. And Darius, the Mede, received the kingdom, being about 62 years old. Got to be grateful and thankful for what the Lord does. When you're grateful and thankful, the blessing can be prolonged. But when you give somebody something and they don't say thank you at all for it, it's like, that's probably going to be the last time I give them something. Be grateful. Everything that isn't salvation is extra. Be grateful for anything more than salvation that you receive on earth. All right? God bless you. Thank you so much for reading the Bible with me today. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be looking at chapter 6 of the book of Daniel. Follow this page. Subscribe to this channel. Click the link in the bio if you're watching on Instagram to learn about the ministry. Click the link down in the description box on YouTube if you're watching there. All right? God bless you. Peace.